Hey there, everyone. You guys have come to Willed Kill Gaming, and today I'm giving you guys my review of Days Gone. This is a Sony first-party game. It's developed by their studio, Ben Studio in Oregon, and man, is this a lovely PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro title. I mean, I love the fact this is exclusive because it was just an amazing game. Ben Studio did a fine job on making this game, minus the two little problems. We'll get to that at the very end of the video. But so far, I will say this game was amazing. It's probably one of my favorite of the year so far. Right up there with Devil May Cry 5 and Kingdom Hearts. So with that all out of the way, I thoroughly loved Days Gone so much that I decided to share with you guys some footage of me getting the Platinum Trophy called One Percenter. Just a little quick backstory before I continue into the actual review. I don't usually platinum games unless I love them. I actually have to love them to do this, because getting platinum sometimes requires a lot of time and a lot of effort that some people just don't have. And I went ahead and took the time to dedicate myself to getting all the trophies. And right here, or as you see right there on the screen, the Platinum Trophy earned 1%er is the Platinum Trophy. Now, moving past that to the review. Let's start with graphics. Graphics are pretty much just awesome graphics. There's nothing really more to say. Small details I can point out for you guys right now is there's not a texture, some lighting, or a character model that doesn't look great. It all looks in place. It all looks like it's supposed to feel. Clothing looks good. The way the weather affects clothing, the way it accumulates on the bike, the way the road looks when you're driving on it, the way blood is on your clothing and on your weapons after using them in combat. All that stuff looks absolutely amazing. Fire looks good when you throw in molotovs at things and burning them. Enemies look good when you shoot them. Everything looks good. Facial expressions and stuff are completely believable, and I mean it's absolutely a beautiful world. Everything down to the green rich forests to the slippery snow covered roads when it starts snowing in the dynamic weather, the rain on your clothing making you look soaked all the time, and the way it splashes off of your tires, and the way the snow covers your pants when you ride on the bike. It all looks amazing. And I just want to say graphics, they're an A. They're a top-notch thing. Moving on from graphics, let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. Gameplay is comparable with every open world game out there. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to try to tell you it does something innovative. It doesn't necessarily do anything innovative. It follows your pretty much standard open world games where you kill the enemies and you get XP, and that XP goes to a little skill tree system where you can get different abilities that help you with your weapons or help you survive better in the world with movement or something like that. Or consuming less stuff to survive more, so you have more supplies left. That's what the gameplay is. You have your 3 skill trees, starting with melee, going to range, and then finishing off with survival. They all do different things. Melee, obviously, you can craft weapons using less materials. You can repair weapons with less materials. You do more damage with your melee weapons. You can hold a combo longer, stuff like that. Ranged is all about guns. You can pick up crossbow bolts off your enemies. Your guns do more damage. They pierce through more enemies. You can hold more ammo. You can use less materials to craft throwables. And survival is more of when running you consume less stamina. When getting hit you take less damage and all that kind of stuff. When you can roll without using more stamina. That's kind of how the skill trees work. But they work alongside the guns. The guns work a lot like any progression-based thing goes. You start off the game with really crappy guns. You end up doing missions and gaining trust with people, and then you can, while you're gaining trust, You can unlock new tiers of goods that are available in those camps or those stores near you, with the different levels of trust. And then you can with the money earned by doing the missions that got you the trust, you can then buy those new weapons, and that's how you get better weapons in the game. You can kill hordes in the beginning of the game. I wouldn't advise it. I'd wait at least 2 or 3 hours in when you at least have tried to, like, when you've at least done a few camp missions where you can unlock one really good assault rifle, and some Molotovs, and then you're gung ho. Go ahead and kill hordes to your content. You have to find them though first. Some of them are a little well hidden than what you think. There are some things called Nero checkpoints where you can upgrade your stamina, your focus, and your health. Like I said, these are all just mechanics that are very present in most open world games, and it just doesn't do anything new to them, and they're there. But if you give Days Gone the time of day, this game does it so well. It just does it. It feels good. It feels familiar, and that's never a bad thing. As far as the bike upgrades, we're gonna get to a little bit of those issues in a second. I will say that the bike upgrades are awesome. They're dynamic. Like I said, the weather's also dynamic game, but the bike upgrades are dynamic as far as cutscenes. Like sometimes, people will say like, oh, like older times, games were made where like you had a certain like cutscenes were already filmed, and like nothing you did to your character would have been in those cutscenes besides maybe some clothing. In this game, they even took it a little step further. Not only it was like everything you buy on your guns and stuff on your character in those cutscenes, but even like if you see your bike in the background, it'll look like you customized it in the background. So when you get done making your bike, painting it, upgrading it, and all that stuff, those are all apparent in the cutscenes in the game. But they're also apparent at the starting menu, which I thought was a nice touch. So that was a cool thing that they did there. But also some bad notes as we are in gameplay. Something that does affect the gameplay a slight bit. It doesn't hurt the game too much. It kind of affects a little bit of smoothness, which is the frame drops, the FPS dips. When you get your bike past upgrade engine level 1, because you have standard engine, then you have level 1, level 2, and level 3. Once you get level 1, you're going to start noticing some frame drops in certain areas, which get kind of annoying. It doesn't get really bad until engine level 2, which is when you get to the third camp in the game. There's a total of 5 camps. When you get to the third camp and you get engine level 2, you start seeing the frame drops a little bit more. But that's really as bad as it gets. Once you get to the higher frame drops, it just continues, because the game, I feel like the game wasn't polished or optimized enough for the bike travel. But that's the only time the frame drops happen, is only when you're on the bike. So that's something you need to know going in, is just that you might experience some frame drops. Now at the time of this recording of this video, we are on update 1.08, and they claim they've improved some of that, but I haven't checked that to see. So just know that's an issue. Also, there's an issue with audio. Not a bad one. This one's more of just kind of weird, because there will be some times when you're in the middle of a mission or like in the middle of a stealth like part of a game where you can do stealth, and you'll hear like some like radio broadcast over your headphone called Radio Free Oregon, and Deacon, after the broadcast is over, Deacon will can possibly yell in some dialogue, and like enemies could be right next to you, but they don't hear you, because it's not like dialogue related. Like they don't hear you say anything, because it's just dialogue you're meant to hear. But it's really awkward, and it can kind of take you out of the moment real quick. But those are the only 2 things as far as gameplay wise that bothered me and that you need to be aware of. Other than that, everything's pretty much familiar, standard, and very fun. Nothing's bad. Everything's fun. Now, with all that, let's go into story and explain a little bit in the story about the Freakers. The Freakers do all look the same. They are like male and female and stuff like that, but they're all, kind of albino-ish. And I heard some people have some complaints about that, but I can just tell you right now, relating to the story, and this is the only thing I'm really going to kind of like say something in depth about, everything about the Freakers the way they look, the way they act, like the new versions that come into the world and how they came to be. All those are explained. Even how the Freakers started, how this whole chaos apocalyptic world started is explained in this game. There's not a stone left unturned, not a question unanswered. And that's a great thing about the story, because why I love this game so much is for this one reason. The story is well written, and there's not a point in time when the twists of the story don't, one, catch you off guard and blow your mind, but two, don't have answers to all the questions you have. Everything is left answered by the end of the game, and I love that about Days Gone. Now, the story I want to talk about just a little bit before I end this review, and just want to say that if you guys are listening to people and people are calling this game's story bland and overrated or whatnot, it is not. I don't know how many of you guys have ever played a zombie game or a zombie kind of game that had a in-depth story about love and hope, but that's Days Gone. And I don't want to get too much into that, because that's the kind of the surprise of the game. The main story of the game is really, really well done, and because the story is really well written and the missions are really well structured, it fuses with the gameplay to the point where like every mission is fresh, because it has you going to different parts of the world for every mission, so you never feel like you're having to visit the same place more than once, unless you yourself are going back there to like farm for ingredients to craft weapons. And so in that the story is so well written like that, but there's twists and turns, and it's a story of love for Deacon, and for the love that Deacon has for his wife, and wanting to know what happened 2 years ago to his wife, if she's still alive or is she dead, because of some evidence that came up about 3 hours into the game that kicks off so many story arcs. It's insane. And it's so compelling, because there's like 5 or 6 stories in this game, and they all get summed up. They all get answered. Everything has a legitimate, good, believable, strong answer or strong story ending, and the end of the game is even better. And if they make a second one, I'm all down for it. So just know the story is great. It's compelling. It's a love story in a zombie game, which I'm sorry, I've never heard of that before, but I was totally down with it, because all the twists and turns had me on the edge of my seat, and that was totally worth the $60 itself for this game. So with all that said, I've talked about graphics, I've talked about gameplay, and I've talked about the amazing story you guys really need to try out, because this story made me love this game so much. Deacon's complex character, complexity in his character, his emotions and stuff that he chooses to hide when everybody's trying to guess him and fill him out, but they just don't get it, because he's still battling with himself for choices he makes every day, for choices he doesn't want to have to make, but he does it because he knows it's morally right. And then there's just stuff he does because he has to survive. And you watch this character that you think you know at the beginning, because they try to state who he is, and then you watch and you see as you interact with the world and as you play through his life, you see that he's not this character that the world thinks he is. And that's why I'm giving this game my final verdict. My final verdict for Days Gone is an A-. And the only reason why I give it an A- is because of the frame drops and that little bit of dialogue problems. Other than that, perfect game. I recommend this to everybody. An A- is not a bad score. Hell, we're practically in the 90s grades, man. They turned in an A paper, man. They're getting a good report card, But if you guys liked my review, if you guys liked hearing what I had to say without giving any spoilers, if you guys have any constructive criticism, anything negative to say, anything positive to say that could help me do these reviews better. Like I said, I haven't really said this, but this is my first review in probably about 2 or 3 years, so I'm trying to get back into it. I tried to do this one without a script, so you guys know I'm kind of messing around with it. So thank you guys so much. If you guys liked it, give me a thumbs up. Again, leave any thoughts, comments, or suggestions down in the comment box. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I am trying to upload loads of gaming content here soon, every day, or at least as much as I can. I have tons of gaming series coming out, and I want to do more reviews. So hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell notification so you guys can be up to date on every single time a gameplay video or a new review comes out. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching Wheels Kill Gaming, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.